How many lives have you lived? And I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say, but there's what I consider different lives inside this one life that I've lived so far. Excuse me if I go a little overboard with the word live, live, and life. But each stage, each thing that you do, especially somebody like myself that when I was younger, even when I became an adult, I moved around a lot. I think of each of those sections as a life that you lived. You didn't die, but that life discontinued and a new one started. You know, there was the life that I had when we lived in Florida until I was about 4. And that was, once we moved far away. We went to Montana. We left that life behind and started a new life. That life didn't last much more than 3 years. And we moved to Colorado and again, left a life behind and started a new life. And then we stayed in Colorado for a few years, left that life behind, went back to Florida. And it's like each thing, each life, each time you're doing something, that's a new life. You know, if you've had a couple different careers or, you know, different types of jobs, those are all a life that you live. And then once you stop doing that or stop working somewhere or stop and you do something different, now you're starting a new life. And you've heard people say that before, like they've used that phrase when, oh, let's move away and start a new life. Because that's exactly what you're doing. You're leaving a life behind you and starting a new one. I had a life with my first wife. We were together for like 18 years, and then we had split up, and that was a life. I had 3 kids with her, and there was anniversaries. There was the connection between me and her parents. The in-laws. There was that side of the family, my side of the family, and then when that marriage came to an end, I began a new life. And I had that new life for, 6-7 years. That came to an end, and now I'm in yet another life. And I just, you make decisions, you do things. What makes it okay if you failed at something or whatever in one of those lives. You get to live another life. You get to, in your lifetime, how many lives have you lived? There's a lot for me, and I haven't, as far as I'm concerned, I haven't even done a whole lot. And there's a lot of lives that I've lived. Very, very, that's a tongue twister, man. There's just a lot of journeys that you go on. Sometimes those journeys don't last forever. Sometimes they last long enough, to learn whatever lesson you're supposed to learn on that journey or on that path. And then you once you've learned it, you may not even know or realize that you learned a lesson, but you leave that part behind and you move forward and you start to live this other life. And I'm in one of those transitions now. I'm trying to push harder and further with my own entrepreneurship or employment. And so this is a new life that I'm living. And before I die, it's very possible that I'm going to live quite a few more. Like you just don't know, especially if you're adventurous and you wander with choices and interests and things that, you don't want to give up on, and you're going to experiment. There's a good possibility that in your lifetime, you're going to live multiple lives. I had mentioned that to a friend recently because they had a house here in Connecticut, and he also had a house up in New Hampshire that was supposed to be a bed and breakfast. There was talks about putting on one in Connecticut on the market, and he was nervous about some stuff and talking about, decisions that he made that failed. And, is this house idea going to fail? And I said to him, I was like, it doesn't matter, man. You're all still healthy. You're all still alive. You're just getting ready to live another life. In this life, we get to live several lives. And if you want, maybe get a piece of paper and you can jot down how many times I've said the word live, lives, lives. So yeah, it's pretty complex, but if you think about it, it's true. You live multiple lives while you're in this life. Had a message from my daughter, or my daughter's mother, letting me know that they're on their way. It's actually late. They went to a thing that we have up here in the northeast corner of Connecticut during the month of October called Nick's Nightmare. It's one of those, like an outdoor haunted house. Then you do like a kind of like a hayride. You do a hayride, and it's really cool because they go out in the dark. You're being pulled by a tractor through a cornfield, and I don't know how these guys do it. I mean, right now the moon is good and bright because we're in that full moon time, so their visibility is a lot better. But there's been Halloweens that we've gone out there, or not Halloweens, but times that we've gone out there during October, and there was like hardly any light. And I'm like, I don't know how these guys are seeing where they're going to get us through the cornfields and out to. It's neat. It's really cool. She's on her way back. So yeah, there's just so many different times in your life where, for lack of a better term, you live another life. You do different things, you do different jobs, or you're with different people, raising kids. I raised 3 kids, me and my ex, and then they're all grown. So now I've got a 10-year-old. That's another life. I mean, if you really sit and think about it, I went to multiple schools. I think my first elementary school was up in Montana. So then there was that. And then I went down to Colorado, went to a school while we were living where we were. We ended up moving to another location down in Colorado Springs. I went to another elementary. I mean, each one of those schools was a life, for me, that small little chunk of time where I lived in a certain spot and went to a certain school and had certain friends. That's a life. And then once you leave that, you start a new one. And I just can't imagine if there's, people that have moved around more than me, or had more jobs, or experienced different things, that, like, how many lives have they lived? It's one of those endless thoughts, like wondering, I don't know, just really a deep thought, something I was thinking about, and I was like, maybe I should make a video about it. And I thought I'd try seeing how intimate it was doing a video with minimal lighting, very minimal lighting. So I would love to see some comments from you guys about how many lives you've lived. What different things have you done? What dreams have you chased? What things did you accomplish and move on to another thing? What things have you taught yourself and learned and did for a while and then did something different? Each one of those different things is a new life. Lots of lives, man. How many of you lived?